Hey guys, how's it going? It's Calvin Raab. So as you guys know, I like credit cards. I like the rewards that they come with. I like researching them. I like getting the signing bonuses, and I like getting cash back and points and different things like that. But there is kind of a dark side to the industry, and there are ways that credit card companies try to completely rip you off. And if you are not aware of these, then you might fall into some of their traps. So in this video, I've narrowed it down to 4 of the biggest ripoffs that I see that credit card companies try to get you with or kind of scam you with, and sometimes they're pretty easy to fall into. So let's jump into it. These are in no particular order, but let's jump into the 4 ways that I see credit card companies completely ripping you off. The first way that credit card companies can completely rip you off is through the yearly fee. So oftentimes when you look at a credit card, you'll see that along with it comes a yearly fee. And oftentimes people don't pay attention to that. They only look at the rewards there and they say, oh, okay, that's fine. And then they go and they get that credit card and then they're stuck with this yearly fee. And oftentimes the yearly fees aren't that much. You know, sometimes they can be like $50, $75, $100 a year. And when you break it down month by month, that's not too bad. But oftentimes what happens is if the rewards are like 1 to 2% or something like that, you just break even on that yearly fee. And you have this weird obligation then, and you have to always use that credit card because you don't want to not make enough to pay off that yearly fee. You know, you don't want to get $50 in rewards but then have to pay a $75 yearly fee. So you're always using that credit card, and there's that pressure to use it even if you have other cards that may give you better rewards. So you have to remember that behind these yearly fees, oftentimes there's whole teams of economists and different analytics people trying to figure out the best number that they can do because they're hoping that you don't get enough rewards so that you have to pay that yearly fee. So it's okay, like if you want to get a reward or a credit card that has a yearly fee, just make sure that you will well surpass it or at least break even on it. So do your math and know where you're going to be using it. I currently do not have any credit cards that have yearly fees, which is quite nice, although down the road I may be getting some because I see some kind of in my future that once I'm spending a certain amount every single month that I see that I can make good money from them. So just definitely do the math on it and be aware that oftentimes they can try to rip you off with that yearly fee. Number 2 are cash withdrawals. So if you've ever tried to withdraw money from a credit card or try to turn it into cash, you'll see that the fees on those are pretty crazy. And you have to think kind of from a logical perspective why that is, because the bank sees you taking that money out and they kind of see it as giving you a loan and one that you have to pay back. Now, the fees are absolutely crazy. I don't know why anyone would ever take money out in the form of cash and from a credit card. You definitely just want to use your checking or even savings account because the fees on there oftentimes will not make it worth it. So just make sure you take that into consideration. If you ever thought about, you know, taking cash out, look at the fees to make sure that they're at least reasonable. I've seen some crazy ones. So oftentimes if I'm taking cash out, I'm never going to do it with my credit card. I'm going to do it with my debit card. That way I don't have the fees that a credit card brings because the bank sees you like it's taken out a loan. So I would just try to stick to your debit card when doing cash withdrawals. The number 3 credit card ripoff are non-financial institution cards. So you see this most often in malls or big retail outlets. If you go there and they try to push their credit card, oftentimes that credit card doesn't have a financial institution behind it. So what that means is most credit cards that you get, so places like Amazon and Apple, they all have financial institutions that back that. So for instance, I actually just got my Apple card yesterday, and the financial institution behind the Apple card is Goldman Sachs. So most cards will have a financial institution behind it, but oftentimes these don't. The finances are kept in-house within that specific company, which that's not necessarily a bad thing from the forefront, but oftentimes because of that, they aren't as well run. And you can also find just bigger ripoffs. And I've looked at some store cards, and if you actually read the fine print, they're such ripoffs when it comes to just everything, you know, monthly fee, interest rate, and different things like that. So it is important to be aware of that. I try not to get any credit cards. I don't even have one yet that is not backed by a major financial institution. So just be aware of that, because oftentimes when it's in the company, they may not know how to handle it properly, and they may spike rates or different things like that. And from what I've seen, they try to just get you to do it based on the sale you can get or cash back at that particular store. But then you are also now linked to that store. You feel obligated. You have to go to that store to get the rewards, and especially if there's a monthly or yearly fee, then you really start to feel obligated to go there. Can you start to see the pattern here where with these monthly and yearly fees that come with these credit cards, they start to make you have to go there. So even if you want to go somewhere else, you feel this obligation to go there to get the rewards to pay off that yearly fee. And they know that. That's why a big thing I have against these kind of yearly fees when they're attached to one specific card or one specific company. You know, they really have to be worth it, because you start to feel this obligation like, oh, shoot, now I actually have to use that card. So I kind of mentioned that with the first one, but I kind of elaborated on that. So this one is all about using cards that are non-financial institution cards. Usually they're a bit of a ripoff. Number 4, the last one, you guys probably expected this one, but that is the unbelievably high interest rate that comes with these credit cards. So every time I get a credit card, they usually send some paperwork on it. I look through it and I read the fine print, because I'm a nerd, finance nerd when it comes to that kind of thing. And I look at their interest rates and it's unbelievable. I've seen some that are about 24, 27, almost 30% interest rate, which is just, it's crazy. And I understand from the standpoint of how kind of scary it can be when you get in credit card debt. You know, consumer debt is a huge problem in the United States. You know, billions and billions of dollars of consumer debt. And oftentimes it is that snowball of debt, that idea that even if you're not racking up more debt, it's getting larger and larger because of these astronomical interest rates. So definitely be aware of that. And then that just goes to, you got to pay it off in full every single month. And for me, what I do is every single credit card that I have it linked to my checking account, and I have it paid off in full every single month. I don't even have to think about it, because I do not want to miss a payment, and I have it paid off in full, not the minimum payment, but the full payment. That way it fully gets paid. And I think you should do the same thing. And if there's, for some reason, you can't pay it off or something along those lines, then it's time to cut up that credit card, because you do not want to run into that credit card debt issue, because credit cards really are something that can put you in a lot of debt, because they can be very helpful. You know, I do love credit cards. I love getting rewards for things that I would normally buy, but it is just that. This is kind of my PSA for credit cards. If you are going to get them and take advantage of them, there is a certain amount of responsibility that comes with it. You know, you are always going to want to be spending money on things that you normally would buy with cash or with a debit card. Never go out of your way to buy something just because you have that credit card. You know, that's what they want you to do. And it's important to remember that you don't want to do that. Just get the rewards that you would had you would normally buy had you had a debit card. The last thing I want to say on this is that it's important to remember the mindset of the credit card companies. They want you to fail, you know. They want you to not be able to pay that amount, because once you're not able to pay that amount, then they start making money, you know. That's when your interest gets larger and larger and larger, and their AR, or accounts receivable from their standpoint, gets larger and larger and larger because you owe them more money. So they want to rip you off. They want to go and have you get into debt larger and larger and larger, so that you are then owed more. And it's important, the credit card companies, you know, all they care about is their bottom line. They want to make money. They're not a charity organization. They want to make money, and they will do that in any way they can. So it's important as the consumer, you and I as the consumer, to know that that is their mindset. And because of that, we now have to be very careful about what we do. But because they are able to rip off so many other people, we can get the rewards from it. So it's important to know that you can get the rewards for those credit cards. So that will wrap it up. That's kind of my 2 cents on it, and I hope this video you got something out of it. I hope it was helpful. There are so many different ways that credit card companies can rip you off. So I'd like to know, what other ones am I missing? I only went over 4. There are more. So what are some other ways that credit card companies rip you off? So if you would let me know in the comments below, that will certainly help me out. And if anyone else may not know about it, then that may help them out as well. So let me know in the comments below. I look forward to talking to you guys, and this is a topic that I really enjoy. So be sure to let me know down there, and I look forward to talking to you guys soon. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new here, my name is Calvin Raab, and I make videos all about personal finance. So if you're interested in anything like that, I would love it if you would subscribe. All right, I'll see you soon, guys.